Public Safety Now.
Build a safe jail.
The thing that I can tell you about any jails is that you've got to do what will work for your community. And South King County isn't Whatcom County, so you may find that there's things that you really like. There may be things that I'll tell you tonight that you'll say, we will never do that. And that's okay. But as so many things in life, if you can learn from our experience, it will make your journey along this road a lot easier. So this is the exterior of my building. As I said, we are the most recently opened jail. And we opened back in September, so we've been operating for about 8 months. And I'll show you some more pictures as we go along. And also, so just a bit about SCORE. As I said, we are a single-purpose government. We were created by 7 member cities. So Auburn, Berrien, Des Moines, Federal Way, Renton, SeaTac, and Tukwila. And we collectively serve a population of about 350,000 people. Okay, so this is where your Whatcom County Jail is, right? And this is where we were in our community, right? I had an average daily population, 200% of what my jail capacity is, and this is exactly where you are. You don't have enough space. You've got the wrong mix of cells. You don't have any programming space within your facility. You don't have adequate support space. Your infrastructure is a disaster, and you have horrible sight lines within the facility. So we'll talk all about these a little bit as we go on. This is your jail today. I was there today, like I said. It was amazing. You have these windows into these dorms. And because people are in those cells, you've put pebbled glass over all of the windows. So you can't see into them. But because the inmates live in it, they're trying to make it so it's not like a zoo. So everybody is coming by, walking and staring and impacting their lives. So the very nature of the facility doesn't work. Down below, this amazed me. This is like the Alaska Way Viaduct. You have earthquake sensors on the floor to find out how much your building is shifting, to see if you're having more structural failure. Unbelievable. I've never seen that in a public facility. And then this one on the right. Up in the booking area, here's a guy who's trying to make a phone call, right? So he's got to reach through the cuff port to get out and get a phone off this portable phone thing that they wheel around, right? Our number one goal as the jail administrator is to get people out of jail, right? We want them to make phone calls. We want them to make bail. We want them to call their loved ones to stay connected. And the poor guy can't even get to a phone, right? So your jail is miserable. It's something that we build local jails for friends and family. You know, it's kind of a funny realization, but who's in jail? Our average length of stay in Whatcom County, like throughout the nation, is about 20 days. And who's there? It's Aunt Susie, it's Uncle Fred, it's Cousin Ben, it's your grandparents, it's your spouse, it's your kids. That's who's in jail. These are people that are in our community. And if this was your child or your loved one, would you want them held in a facility with these kinds of conditions? So your current housing problems, Sheriff Elfo's talked about this, Constantine's talked about it, you don't have enough space, right? Built for 148 inmates, your peak is over 320, you simply don't have enough space. You have the wrong distribution of beds. So you have a legal obligation. The county has a legal obligation to house people appropriately. So that means you have to separate violent offenders from nonviolent offenders. It means you have to separate people that are vulnerable from people that may prey on them. You don't have the ability to do that, which means you're exposing yourself to liability in operation of the jail because you just can't meet those legal requirements. You don't have the ability to separate special needs inmates. You don't have any program space. You have one program room that's off the court. You have a courthouse or a courtroom within the jail, and you have a program space that's over there. But you can't use it when the courtroom's in operation, which is probably 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day because they're handling the court matters, right? You just don't have adequate program space. And you have community volunteers that are willing to come and do programs. That's amazing. That's a huge asset that most jails would love to have, and you can't take advantage of them. Again, we want people to stay connected to their community, stay connected to the people that are there, because by doing so, it reduces recidivism. You have a horrible problem with your infrastructure. You have a horrible kitchen. It's unbelievable that they can prepare the volume of meals that they can. The same thing with the laundry. You don't have enough space in booking. You have 3 chairs that are put together. So pretend this is the booking area. These 3 chairs, that's where you sit inmates. How do you handle males, females? How do you handle somebody that's agitated? How do you separate them? Because all the other cells where they would separate inmates, they're all full. They're all full with people that are problems. So there's simply no place to put people. As a jail, you're there to welcome inmates in, right? Receive them. There's simply no place to take them. And the infrastructure, we can talk all about that. The control room, like I said, has a toilet in the middle of it. And people are just making it work. But you also have a host of infrastructure problems. You have 3 different control panels. You've got 4 different camera systems. It's amazing that the people out there can figure out how to make things work. And we've heard all about the waste plumbing problems. You know, I was told that Sheriff Elfo, your first day at work, you had dirty water on your desk.
Leaking from the ceiling. The solution was just come in and repaint the ceiling.
That should have been a sign on your first day at work. And your cell locks are failing, right? One of the things you want to do in jail is keep inmates in their cells. I was told today that you've had inmates that have defeated their cells with the thread from their socks, okay? That's not a good thing in a jail. We want people to stay behind the locked doors, okay? So Whatcom County, what makes it so bad here? What's your problem? One of the challenges you have is in Whatcom County, you are the only provider of jail services. In King County, for example, we have 6 municipal jails. We also have a federal detention center. We have DOC facilities. You don't have that. If you're in Whatcom County and you're getting booked, you're going to the Whatcom County Jail, which means they have a very high volume of intake, and that's limiting their capacity. Even if you can take people out the door 2 or 3 days later, you've tied up those beds every 2 or 3 days, and it limits the capacity. Your county, you have grown by over 72% since you opened the jail back in 1984. More people in the county, even if your per capita booking rate stays the same, means you need more space. And you've already maximized the people that you can divert from the main jail system. Those people that can go to the work center, that can be on alternatives, they're already there. It's not like you're going to be able to say, we're going to book 10% less people and send them to programs. Those people are already there. So can you renovate, right? Just like this, can you put a new coat of paint on the door? Well, you can, but it's not going to solve your problems. You cannot solve your infrastructure problems. You cannot solve the fact that your electrical system is failing, your HVAC and your plumbing systems are failing. These problems aren't going to go away. And the bigger challenge that you have is if you say, let's remodel the thing, where are you going to put the inmates while you're remodeling? And I can tell you from a new jail construction standpoint, it took us 19 months once we actually started putting things in the ground, not just clearing the ground. Remodel projects take at least twice as long. It's my experience, right? I had a little flood at my house. It was going to take 6 weeks, 4.5 months later, before the floor was done, the paint was back on the wall, right? So it's going to take twice as long, and it's probably going to cost you every bit as much to try and remodel it. So planning considerations, you've heard a lot about this. Right now you're operating a work center in one location, you're operating the main jail in another location. If you can bring those together, you're going to reduce your operating costs. If you can consolidate everything together, it'll be more efficient. And you've heard a lot about a horizontal jail as being more efficient to operate. It's usually cheaper to build because of the structural implications. And frankly, you have elevators in your jail, and in technical jail talk, I think elevators are icky with inmates, right? I wouldn't want to be in an elevator with a bunch of inmates, would you? So I hope I've inspired you and told you that you can do this. You can come together as the community and you can move forward. You need a vision. It all starts with an idea, and you've already got that, and you've got such wonderful community support. So I wish you very well with your project, and thank you.